Oh my God, Anita.
Hello, welcome to another edition of the Willie Bragg Show. I am your humble host, Willie Bragg, and I hope you're doing well today. Right now, I'm experimenting, trying to do YouTube and Twitch at the same time to see how this works out. I'm not even trying Rumble yet because I don't know how it's going to work with Rumble, but we'll find out at some point. So anyway, enough about that. Am I trying to do technological perfections? I want to talk about the logic of the shit lib because they get on my damn nerves. I mean, they get on my damn nerves, and I used to be a shit lib, but even when I used to be a shit lib, I never thought like this. I never had this mindset. And maybe I'm going to say that maybe not all shit libs think alike. Because I know that when I was more of one, I never thought like this. So for some of the more sensible shit libs, this doesn't apply to you, but it still applies to the average shit lib out there. And so that's what I want to talk about. And so let's start with I guess you could say let's begin at the beginning, because that's really the only way you can start at things. And we will hold on a second here because I need to find my graphics so to get everything ready. Hold on a minute here. So let's start back in the year 2000. Ralph Nader ran for president, and George W. Bush, well, there's a lot of sore feelings about Ralph Nader. I'm not going to go and tell you what I really think happened in the 2000 election, because the last time I did that, my channel got zapped. So I'm not going to tell you about what happened, because we're forbidden to talk about the results of presidential elections, what we really think happened. So I'm not going to do that, because apparently they think you're a conspiracy theorist. But let's just say that Ralph Nader was blamed. And so when you start to talk to a lot of liberals and the name Ralph Nader comes along, they get into a mental meltdown frenzy. Oh, Ralph Nader's the reason. You people that voted for Ralph Nader are the reasons why George W. Bush won. Ralph Nader wouldn't have had to have run if Al Gore and Joe Lieberman would have been Democrats instead of fucking Republican lights. I'm gonna repeat that over and over again, just as Hillary Clinton, not choosing Tim Kaine as her running mate and going Republican light and saying fuck you to the Bernie Sanders supporters and then getting defeated in 2016. So think about that. Now, some people on the left do not like Jimmy Dore. They think he's right wing. I don't, but some people think he's right wing. But what he said is true. They hated Ralph Nader because he supposedly gave us George W. Bush. Now that they love George W. Bush, they still hate Ralph Nader. Think about that for a moment, people. I want you to think about that long and hard. The Democrats still hate Ralph Nader, and now they love George W. Bush. You think about it for a moment. You think about it. I want you to think about it hard because it's the damn truth. It really is. So that's where we're at right now with regard to the shit live mindset. So right now, last week, Liz Cheney lost the in the primaries, and a lot of Democrats are saddened because Liz Cheney lost. Why are y'all sad? I really like to know, why the hell are y'all sad that this Karen in Wyoming lost last week? Why are y'all so sad about that? Because, she voted with Donald Trump 93% of the time. She voted for the tax cuts and the deregulation. She voted for the military buildup. She voted for the fucking Trump agenda. And you think about it, 93% of the time. And you better believe that probably a large part of the 7% of the time that she was voting against Trump, probably a large chunk of it was to Trump's right. So is she really your friend? And if Liz Cheney is your friend, I don't know what to say about y'all. I'm all for criticizing Donald Trump all day long. But Liz Cheney's position on LGBTQ rights is just nothing but a polite version of the trash and the bigotry that comes out of Marjorie Taylor Greene's mouth. And some of y'all beat up on Briana Joy Gray because she said that Marjorie Taylor Greene, so stop clock, giving the right time twice a day about the FBI. But you think that she's a rock star, referring to Liz Cheney because she was correct about January 6th sucking? And I bet many of y'all, not my audience, but people out there, that they're like, oh, Liz Cheney should run for president. I think she should run for president. I will vote for Liz Cheney. She ran for president. You think about what you're saying. It's the policies of people like Liz Cheney that brought you Donald Trump to begin with. It's the policies of Liz Cheney, the foreign policy neoconservatism. Yes, she thought January 6th sucked. I'm 100% in agreement with her. I'm 100% in agreement with her. The one damn thing she and her shitty father was correct about in their entire worthless lives And you're going to say she's a rock star over this? What the fuck is wrong with you people? Yeah, shit lives out there. What the hell's wrong with y'all? I mean, you know, and some people even talk about AOC and Liz Cheney pairing up. It won't happen. Well, sad to say that the Democrats will probably put Liz Cheney on top of the ticket a hell of a lot faster than they would AOC. You know, they would not want an actual leftist anywhere near the presidential nomination or vice presidential nomination, but they will have Liz Cheney up there thinking, oh, we can get those soccer mom Republican types. I know how Democrats work, and they would rather have a moderate Republican. You know, she's not that moderate. She's pretty right wing, but you know, in their eyes, a centrist Republican than to have somebody who is who's barely a socialist. I'm talking about AOC. And you know, and what's sad is, you know, well, I think that AOC could do better. There's a lot of people out there, Republicans and a lot of corporate Democrats alike. They think that she's a dangerous revolutionary. And honestly, y'all don't know what a dangerous revolutionary is. You just don't get it. You really don't get it. So, you know, it's ridiculous, some of the ass backward logic that having to deal with and everything. So, you know, regarding, you know, and there's quite a few people that think that Liz Cheney is cool, but they think that Glenn Greenwald and Jimmy Dore are right wing now. And because they go on Tucker Carlson, you know, when you know, they're refused to go on, when CNN and MSNBC won't have them up there anymore for whatever reason, and their politics is much to the left of MSNBC and CNN, to the left of the Young Turks as well. You know, that embarrassing display a few days ago, Cenk Uygur against Briana Joy Gray. You know, and for what? You know, because they go on Tucker Carlson and they don't call him an asshole. I mean, you know, again, I'm going to repeat myself. They're not perfect. They're not perfect. But when I hear people like Cenk Uygur last year associating them with white nationalism, you got Jimmy Dore, who's married to a Hispanic woman with brown skin. And you got Glenn Greenwald. Let me add to Glenn Greenwald's situation. You got a Jewish gay man who lives in Brazil, married to a brown-skinned gay man who is a Trotskyist in the Brazilian parliament with the Party for Socialism and Liberty, who's responsible for the freeing of Lula da Silva. Jair Bolsonaro will be probably defeated in the next election in Brazil because of Glenn Greenwald. Glenn Greenwald will be the reason why Lula will be coming back to power in Brazil. But yet he's right wing. And that same Jair Bolsonaro is trying to murder. They've been trying to murder both Glenn Greenwald and David Miranda. But yet they're right wing. That's the shit lib logic that we live under today in this country. But someone like Liz Cheney is a rock star. Someone like Liz Cheney is a rock star. That's the logic we live with in this country here. Another example would be what I would call the dream team 2 years ago that never came into being. And that was basically good Lord, the ticket I wanted. You have people like Brooklyn Dad Defiant giving Bernie Sanders a lot of shit about the possibility of him choosing Tulsi Gabbard. Now, Tulsi Gabbard is not where she was a couple of years ago politically, and I'm disappointed with some of the positions she's taken. But when it comes to the skirmish and the crisis going on between Russia and the Ukraine, she's been pretty damn good and consistent. I don't like some of the things she's been saying domestically in politics lately. That's been a little bit on the cringe side, and I will criticize her when she deserves to be criticized. And I wish she'll stop that. But I still think that any push, any position toward the right she's been embracing is the fault of people like Hillary Clinton, who basically slandered her 3 years ago. It's hard to believe it's been almost 3 years that this shit started. But that's basically what's happening, and everybody just decided to go and gang up on her. And you corporate Democrats out there in the mainstream media, y'all forced her to get a receptive audience by the right, and so she placated toward them. And it's the fault of the pseudo liberals out there. The shit libs are the reason why Tulsi Gabbard took some cringy political turns toward a more unpleasant politics. But she's not wrong on foreign policy. She's still pretty good on foreign policy, and I'm not going to take that away from her. Having all that said, I'm just really want to let y'all know that this whole idea of building up Liz Cheney, because Marjorie Taylor Greene is an insane individual, and there's no doubt about that. There's not 1 ounce of doubt that she's insane. She's a bigot. She's a racist. She's an anti-Semite. She's a homophobe. She's a transphobe. And yeah, she is worse than Liz Cheney in many ways. She is worse. But Liz Cheney is connected in a foreign policy of murder, which makes her just as horrible too. So I don't believe in like, well, you have to choose one or the other. I don't believe in that shit. You can hate them both. It's okay. You can hate them both. I do. I'm not going to sit there and be like, well, gee, Liz Cheney owned Marjorie Taylor Greene. That makes her all right. No. Marjorie Taylor Greene's always going to be an awful person. Liz Cheney is always going to be an awful person. And nothing is going to rehabilitate the two individuals. They're just a different grade of awful. And that's what the shit libs need to fully understand, yet many of them don't. It's okay. You can hate both of them. I do. And that's my point right there. But that's the shit lib mindset. So right now we live in a country where the shit libs still hate Ralph Nader, but hey, they love Liz Cheney. And I keep warning them, they keep with this mindset, they're going to end up embracing Donald Trump in a few years when you have Ron DeSantis in the White House, or even possibly Ted Cruz. So I mean, that's y'all keep that shit up, shit libs. You keep it up, and that's what's going to happen. So, well, before I go and conclude, I do have an announcement, and that announcement is this: that I'm happy to be at that tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will be guest on the Tommy Nation Politics with Jamarr Jabari. The discussion will be called "The Flaws and the Fake." The title has been inspired by the conversation between Briana Joy Gray and Cenk Uygur, and basically, how the Democrats, who would rather engage in political theater than fixing the problems that face Americans, and that's what we'll be discussing. That will be tomorrow night on his program. I will leave the information on the YouTube channel. I don't have any way of doing it on the Twitch yet, but who's on Twitch, just you can find me on YouTube, and you can also find me on Twitter, and you'll be able to find the information there. So if you like what you heard, press like and comment. If you disagree with what I have to say, comment anyway. We will have a conversation. Feel free to feel free to share the content on this channel. As a First Amendment absolutist, is my duty to inform you to create your own platform and utilize it, because we are in fact the muckrakers of our time. And once again, I'm going to ask each and every one of you to reject corporate media, because corporate media has nothing at all to offer us. And until next time, I will conclude by saying to you all, music. Music.
Wow.